using both the carrot and the stick to get the desired result. Hi, this is Dave Hughes of Reyes Martial Arts in Gallatin. Welcome back to my Life Coach Your Child series. Today we're talking about the motivation of children and the two motivating forces, positive and negative reinforcement. Every human being is motivated by two primary urges or two primary needs. The desire to avoid pain and the desire to gain pleasure. Now, those two are two motivating factors. Now, I'm a very positive and optimistic person in general. However, research shows that the desire to avoid pain is actually the stronger of the two motivating factors. For example, what would you work harder at or have more incentive to do? To put in the work to earn an extra $100,000, or what would you be more motivated to keep someone from stealing $100,000 from you? Just as an example. Now, the rewards do not need to be bribes or financial, and the pain or the punishment or negative reinforcement doesn't need to be physical, though sometimes that does work in certain situations. A really powerful thing to use is by giving out attention to children. Most children would rather be spanked or punished or to have their things taken away or whatever the punishment may be or yelled at than they would to be ignored. In fact, if you have been using more negative reinforcement with your child, it may take a little while to turn that boat around a little bit. Keep in mind, if a child has learned to get the attention by negative behavior, they're going to start doing more negative behavior. Hey, don't you see what I'm doing? I'm about to set the house on fire. They'll keep doing things to try and escalate it before they turn around. But keep in mind, like I said, most children would much rather be punished than ignored. Now, if you're giving positive reinforcement to your child and positive feedback on the things, if you're rewarding a certain behavior, then you're going to see more of it. Now, keep in mind that while negative reinforcement sometimes is necessary, it is only putting out fires. It is not a long-term solution. You'll just keep having the same problem over and over again, or you're not going to develop positive habits. You just are having them become sneakier and doing things behind your back. Now, for long-term results, though it requires patience, the positive reinforcement is far more effective. In fact, eventually, it can have a positive effect on your child's self-image so that they'll start to see themselves as the type of person that would take these actions and not take the negative actions. In fact, with a mule or a donkey trying to use the carrot or the stick to get it to pull the cart, they're stuck there. Both methods do work, but it can't evolve. A human being, luckily, emotionally and actually physically and intellectually can evolve. So they can actually turn from that mule or donkey to a thoroughbred. What I mean by a thoroughbred is having somebody that has such a high self-image of themselves, not egotistical, inflated image, but they see themselves and their self-image as the type of person that would never lower their standards below a certain level. And their actions reflect those standards. In fact, it's kind of like a thermostat in a house. In your house, if it gets a little bit too warm, if you have it, say, set to 72, if it's getting too warm, the air conditioning kicks on and brings it back down. If, on the other hand, it's starting to get a little cooler and the temperature is dropping, the heater will kick up and bring it back up to 72. Based on people's self-image and who they see themselves as on a gut level, in their core, in their nervous system, that's how they react to things. Do I see myself as an honest person or a thief? Do I see myself as a hard worker or somebody who just barely gets by? Do I see myself as an achiever, a super achiever, or do I see myself as Al Bundy sitting on the couch? Whatever your self-image is, that is what's going to determine the actions that you're going to take. One of the reasons that I'm extremely effective with children is I don't just see them as who they are right now. I make a very serious effort to see them as potentially who I think they can be. As a parent, you probably have your kids complain that, say if they're 9 years old and they did something with 6, you'll bring that up and they're, well, Mom, I was a little kid. Well, to you, they're still a little kid. But they see themselves as they are now. You see them from the time they were a baby up till their current age. What I try to do is I see who they can become. Yes, I see them who they are now, but I see them and I treat them like they're the person, the thoroughbred that I think that they can become. And because of that, I have that image of them. They do a lot of things not to disappoint me. They'll go out of their way to live up to that expectation, just as they will to yours, regardless of what your expectations are of them.